Hello students, so welcome to the same topic that we read previously, and the topic's name was Soviet Union. And in the previous class we had completed up to here, that means Russia as a country was dominating the USSR. That means Russia was dominating the other 14 countries that were under the Union of Socialist and Soviet Republic. Clear? So after this, in the arms race, the Soviet Union managed to match the US from time to time, but at great cost. Clear? Arms race means in terms of weapons and in terms of war. You can tell that whatever the comparison was made, or whatever the comparison that the Soviet Union managed to match the US from time to time, but at a great cost. That means what? They were matching the nuclear, or you can say in terms of arms race, whatever the nuclear weapons or missiles were there, the Soviet Union was also equal to that of the US. They can easily match to that of US, but at what cost? But at a great cost. Clear? They had to sacrifice many things in order to match with the arms or ammunition with that of the US. The Soviet Union lagged behind the West in technology, infrastructure, example transport, power, and most importantly in fulfilling the political or economic aspirations of citizens. Clear? That means why it was managing, that means it was matching to the level of US, but at great cost. Why? Actually, the Soviet Union lagged behind the West in what? In terms of technology, infrastructure, example transport and power. Technology infrastructure means, as we read earlier, that they were manufacturing and producing everything from pins to cars, but that did not match what? The quality, the build quality or the quality. So in relation to that only, the Soviet Union was lagging behind the West in technology infrastructure, that is transport power, and most importantly in fulfilling the political and economic aspirations of citizens. That means they were not matching to the quality also, they were not matching to the technology of the capitalist country of the Western Alliance headed by US, and they were also failed in fulfilling the political or economic aspirations of citizens. That means what? The citizens under the US, or you can say under the Western Alliance, were happy because the system that they followed listened to each and every citizen's problem. But in case of the USSR, it was not the case. Whatever the views of people, the people were giving their views to the Communist Party of USSR, they were totally ignoring and neglecting the people's views. So based on that only, the USSR was lagging or was not fulfilling the political or economic aspirations of citizens. That means what? The citizens under the US was happy, as in the case of USSR, the citizens were feeling neglected, they were not happy. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 weakened the system even further. After that, what the Soviet Union did? They invaded Afghanistan in 1979. Clear? And after this invasion of Afghanistan, the system had weakened. Though wages continued to grow, productivity and technology fell considerably behind that of the West. After that, the downfall started actually. After they invaded Afghanistan, their system actually collapsed. The wages continued to grow. That means whatever the wages, the standard of living was there, it was good. But productivity and technology fell considerably behind that of the West. As earlier they were matching to the quality of the West, they were equally in that scene. But after this was the starting point. Invasion of Afghanistan started, the system was weakened. After that, wages was good, but productivity and technology fell considerably. That means to the downfall, and with that they were actually followed by what? They were actually not up to the level of the West now. They were falling considerably in terms of technology also and in terms of power also. This led to shortages in all consumer goods, and with this, as they were considerably falling behind the West, this led to what? Shortages of all consumer goods. Whatever they were producing earlier, from pins to cars, they were facing shortages now due to this productivity issue. Food imports increased every year. Now, the USSR earlier, who was not at all importing anything from any country, they were now very in a state of dilemma that whatever the conditions was there, they were very much in that condition. They were importing foods from the outer countries every year. The Soviet economy was faltering in the late 1970s and became stagnant. After this, what happened? See, the downfall you can write from here. Downfall started from here. Actually, they matched with the US, but at great cost. But they were lagging behind in terms of technology and infrastructure. After that, they invaded Afghanistan in 1979, then weakened the system. That means lots of arms and ammunition they used actually. After that, their productivity and technology failed, which led to what? Shortages of consumer goods. Whatever they were producing, they were facing shortages over there. After that, food imports increased, and at last what happened? The economy of the USSR was faltering in late 1970s. That means flattened, collapsed, and it became stagnant. That means at one place. It became hold on one place. In this way, the Soviet system, whatever we are reading, the Soviet system had actually collapsed. Clear? This was all about Soviet system. So after that, in order to understand disintegration of USSR, we will read now about Gorbachev and disintegration. Clear? We will now know who was Gorbachev and how is he related to the disintegration. So Mikhail Gorbachev, who had become General Secretary of the Communist Party of Soviet Union in 1985, sought to reform this system. That means what? This person named Mikhail Gorbachev, he had become what? GS, that means General Secretary of the Communist Party, as there is only one party in the Soviet Union at that time. So he became General Secretary in 1985 of the Communist Party, and after becoming General Secretary, he thought of what? He thought to reform this system. Which system? The Soviet system that we read earlier. He thought that changes were very necessary. So in regard, reforms were necessary to keep the USSR abreast of the information and technological revolutions taking place in the West. So Mikhail Gorbachev thought that reforms, means changes, are very necessary in order to keep what? Whatever the system of USSR had fallen and the economy system was almost dead. In order to revive this economy, he thought of bringing changes, that means reforms, which would bring what? The technological revolutions. And if they are bringing reforms, then with that, if they revive, they can again come in the competition with that of the West. That means Western Alliance of the US. Clear? After that, however, Gorbachev's decision to normalize relations with the West and democratize and reform the Soviet Union had some other effects that neither he nor anyone else intended or anticipated. But whatever he was thinking to come in competition with the West. He was thinking to make some changes. So regarding these only, some other effects neither he nor anyone else intended or anticipated. But another some situations was coming, and that situation he was not aware. He was also not aware, nor anyone in the USSR was aware about that situation. The people in East European countries which were part of the Soviet bloc started to protest against their own governments and Soviet control. Now, This line can be related to which situation? As the Soviet Union was controlling everything and they were neglecting, the Communist Party was neglecting the people's thought and people's ideas. They were not listening to all. And after Gorbachev was thinking of reforming, making changes, at that time only, what happened? The people in the East European countries started to protest against their own governments and Soviet control. That means whatever the Eastern European countries were under the dominance of USSR, they started protesting. Unlike in the past, the Soviet Union under Gorbachev did not intervene when the disturbances occurred and the communist regimes collapsed one after another. So with this protest, what happened? Gorbachev also did not interfere when the disturbances occurred because he alone cannot do anything. So based on that, he did not create any disturbances, and without any creating any disturbances, what happened? What was the result? Whatever the communist regimes, or you can say that whatever the system was followed by the communist, that collapsed one after the other. That means you can say the government started to fall one after the other. These developments were accompanied by rapidly escalating crisis within the USSR that hastened its disintegration. So whatever this communist regime started to collapse, and with this collapse, the disintegration of USSR also was started. That means what? It was expected that the USSR will now disintegrate because the people of their own were not supporting. Because of what? Because of the dictatorship they had carried on till that time. Gorbachev initiated the policies of economic and political reform and democratization within the country. But Gorbachev did not lose his hope. He was eager to bring the policies of what? He wanted that USSR should survive again. And with this view, he brought what? The policy of economic and political reform. That means some changes in economic policy, some changes in political reform, and he was also eager to bring the democratization process. That means democracy. These three things he believed that if he is able to bring this economic policy, political reform and democratization, then USSR will again stand as the union. The reforms were opposed by the leaders within the Communist Party, but here the problem was that the leaders of his own party was what? Was opposing this idea. That means whatever the ideas of political reforms, economic reforms and democratization he was reviewing or he was bringing forward, that was thoroughly being opposed by the leaders of the Communist Party, by his own party. That means he was not getting support from his own party members. After that, a coup took place in 1991 that was encouraged by Communist Party hardliners. Now an incident took place in 1991 that was encouraged by whom? Communist Party hardliners. Clear? That means from the members of their own Communist Party. The people had tasted freedom by then and did not want the old style rule of the Communist Party. Clear? Now what was the effect actually? The people already after protesting, they were protesting so much that they got the taste of freedom. That means now the people were not controlled by that Communist Party, because after the start of protest and agitations, the Communist Party was losing its hold over the people of its union. So for this reason, the people had tasted freedom already. They were free now and did not want to go back to the old style of rule of Communist Party. So they did not wanted the same old style of ruling. That is, the Communist Party's ruling system was what? State ownership was there and all the power should be with themselves only. And this will do what? This will make the Communist Party as a dictator. So the people did not wanted to go back to that same system. Clear? After that, Boris Yeltsin emerged as a national hero in opposing this coup. The Russian Republic, where Yeltsin won a popular election, began to shake off centralized control. So after that, whatever the incident took place, Boris Yeltsin became what? As a national hero, and he was successful in opposing this coup. For that reason, Boris Yeltsin emerged as what? A national hero. The Russian Republic, where Yeltsin won a popular election, began to shake off centralized control, and he won elections also, because he was now a popular figure among the people of USSR. Clear? And with this, the Russian Republic, in this place, he won an election, and with the winning of this election, he began to shake off centralized power. Whatever the central power was there of the Communist Party, that was in fear now. Power began to shift from the Soviet center to the republics. Now what happened? Earlier it was, the power was with the Soviet center, but now after Boris Yeltsin won from this institution, that is the Russian Republic, it suddenly started to shift the power from Soviet center to the republics. Clear? Especially in the more Europeanized part of the Soviet Union, wherever the Eastern European part was there, in that part especially the power shifted from Soviet to republic system. The Central Asian republics did not ask for independence and wanted to remain with the Soviet Federation, and out of that, the East European countries wanted to be free from the old system of Soviet Republic, but the Central Asian republics did not ask for independence. They were happy and they wanted to remain with the Soviet Federation. Clear? Only this Central Asian Republic. In December 1991, under the leadership of Boris Yeltsin, Russia, Ukraine and Belarus, three major republics of the USSR, declared that the Soviet Union was disbanded. And after that, as the people supported Boris Yeltsin, and as Boris Yeltsin had become a national hero figure, so with his leadership, as the power shifted from Soviet system to republican system, so with this, accept this, what the Central Asian Republic did not wanted to go outside, they wanted to be with the Soviet Union also only. But in December 1991, one unique thing happened. Under the leadership of Yeltsin, the USSR, under the USSR 15 members were there. So out of that, Russia, Ukraine and Belarus, three major republics of the USSR, declared that Soviet Union was disbanded. That means Soviet Union was disintegrated. They announced. So who are the three countries that announced that Soviet Union is not now Soviet Union? USSR is now dissolved. These three countries actually announced this. The name of the three countries are Russia, Ukraine and Belarus. Clear? The Communist Party of the Soviet Union was banned. And as USSR was banned, after that the second thing that was banned was the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. Clear? As it was a dictator and people do not support it. They protested. Capitalism and democracy were adopted as the basis for post-Soviet republics. And see these three changes. First of all, Russia, Ukraine and Belarus declared that Soviet Union was disintegrated. That means from now onwards USSR is not there. It is dissolved. And the 15 countries will now be independent countries. Clear? After that, the second thing that they did was the Communist Party was banned. The Communist Party of Soviet Union was also banned. And thirdly, the capitalism and democracy, the ideals of capitalism that the Western countries or the Western alliances followed, actually this system, the capitalism and the democracy, and that capitalism and democracy system were followed here also. That is as a result of the banning of Communist Party and the dissolve of USSR. After that, the third positive thing that happened in the post-Soviet integration is the introduction of capitalism and democracy. Clear? So with this I will wind up today's topic, and today we have studied about the half portion of what is Soviet Union, and we have read about the Gorbachev and his views of reforms, and along with that how the disintegration of Russia occurred actually. Clear? So with this I will wind up today's topic. Thank you.